Hello, everybody. Hello. Thank you. So, welcome to the Sherman Homeowners Association. We had a little break during July, which is nice. We're always dark, as you know, in July and December, but every other month of the year, we're here on the third Wednesday of every month, live here at the community room, and then also we're back live on Zoom. So we had some technical issues on Zoom. We do have a Wi-Fi connection now, so we should be crystal clear. So welcome for you folks at home that couldn't make it tonight, and it's a shame you didn't make it tonight because we had a fantastic meal. So first off, Jules, come up here, Jules, if you can make a quick announcement, and then the rest of the board of directors, if you can come on up and say hello to the folks.
Funny. So we started with the restaurant of the month. Our first restaurant of the month was in 1996 at a little bank on the corner of Fulton and Ventura, where we had probably 6 or 8 people attend, and that's where it all started. Since then, since 1996, we've had a restaurant of the month pretty much at every meeting. We've got quite a track record. We've had a lot of great restaurants, but I got to tell you, this is one for the books. So, if they are located in the old Bistro Gardens, excuse me, Reeve Ghost location. The old Reeve Ghost location. You can't believe what they did to that. It's beautiful. So I would like to bring up 2 people from that restaurant. I'd like to bring up Danny and Laura. Would you please? So Danny is the owner, Laura is the co-owner and executive chef. Tell us about your restaurant.
How you guys doing? So we are a family-owned restaurant. We started 15 years ago in a small location right by USC, the 2 of us and my younger brother. And sorry, can you hear me better now? Okay. So we kind of been looking for a location in Sherman Oaks for years. And when the old Reeve Ghost space became available, we kind of got really excited about it because it was a location that we had been going to since we were little kids. And we're excited to be a part of this community. And it was really a space that fit our brand really well. We love the outdoor space, the trees, the kind of the natural beauty of the space. And when we went into there, it was what we wanted to do was keep the integrity of what the building was and just kind of give it a facelift. So for those of you who have been there, I think we've done that to the best of our ability. And for those of you who haven't, hopefully you guys can come soon and see what it looks like. I'm going to actually pass the microphone over to Chef Lior, and he's going to tell you guys a little bit about our food.
Hey everybody. So our food is basically Mediterranean, small plate, tapas, sherry tapas. You have a variety of food from the Mediterranean, Israel, Lebanon, Spain, Italy, Venice, Italy. It's very well spread out. Our food dietary restrictions, we can accommodate all dietary restrictions, kosher style, kosher style. We have vegan, vegetarian, all kinds. So we welcome everybody to come in. And I want to say one thing. Danny and I and Robert been in business for 15 years, and I mentioned to a few people here. I just say that coming to Sherman Oaks has been the warmest that we received from any community that we came into and opened everything. So we're very grateful. We're very grateful for everybody here. Thanks for the community support. So thank you so much, guys.
I'm helping anybody. And for those of you that just want to walk into the restaurant and have dinner, you better be prepared to make a reservation in advance, unless you know Danny. And Danny might be able to help you out. Is that correct, Danny?
No, that's
What's the magic,
correct.
what's the magic word?
Just,
So,
just, you guys can email me or call me directly.
thank you. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Jules, and thank you for always bringing a great restaurant for us. You'll be bringing great restaurants for a long, long time to come. Okay, Bob?
Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Anderson, Vice President and Chair of the Transportation Committee. Nothing about Metro tonight, except the lawsuit is ongoing and I'm on the phone with the lawyers about daily, so it's kind of fun. But we'll keep you posted when we know how something's happening.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming. My name is Larry Slade. I have the honor of chairing the Homelessness Committee for the Sherman Oaks Homeowners Association.
Maria Kalban, I am Vice President of the Homeowners, and I chair the Legislative Committee. Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Nancy Segoyan. I am the membership chair and also the co-chair of the Airport Committee. I'll be talking a little bit about that, but I want to encourage anyone who is not a member, but who cares about quality of life in Sherman Oaks, please join SOHA. We work so hard to preserve the quality of our life. So thank you for being.
Thank you, Nancy.
I'm Sean Kurzweil. I'm on the Homelessness Committee with Larry and on the Airport Committee with Nancy.
Everybody, I'm Jay Weitzler. I'm on the committee for the airports around here along with Nancy. And I generally take care of trying to keep track of what's going on with Burbank, and Nancy takes care of Van Nuys. And between the two of us, we can't stop the FAA from doing what they want. So I think those of you who read the newsletter saw the blast about, and perhaps in Nancy's blast in next door, about letting the FAA know that you're not enthusiastic about having these 2 to 4 passenger air taxis fly very close over our neighborhood. So if you have an opportunity, again, go on to the Quiet Skies for Studio City website, and you'll figure out how to register your objection. And I'm also the liaison with the Buckley School, and Sally Sakon from the school is hiding way in the back there. So if you have any good things to say about the Buckley School, she'd be happy to talk to you.
Thank you. So we have a few elected officials, representatives, didn't think of that word. If you guys want to come on up, we have a couple board members that aren't here tonight, but a shout out for Tom Glick, well-deserved vacation, and also Marshall Long. Come on, guys, introduce yourselves, say hello. You guys stand right here, though. Don't be shy. Come on. Right there, perfect. All right.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sean Regan from Congressman Sherman's office. Great to be with all of you again. I have many things to tell you. I'm going to do it in a very, very fast fly-by-way, so let's start. Number one is we have an upcoming telephone town hall. This is September 7th, it's on a Thursday, I believe. So please tune in, join us for that. But if you want to see the congressman before then in the flesh, we have a booth set up in Woodland Hills at the Warner Center Park for Concerts in the Parks. He will be there this Sunday. We've been there every Sunday this summer. We'll continue till the end of August. It's a great opportunity to come up, see the congressman in person, ask him any of your pressing questions. I know it's a bit of a schlep, but he loves going out there. So that's the place to find him. Beyond that, the congressman submitted 15 projects for federal funds. We're proud to say all 15 of them were approved. So we're very excited about that. Now, the next step of the legislative process is actually making sure that they are funded, and he is there fighting for every nickel, dime, penny to make sure all those millions upon millions of dollars go into the San Fernando Valley of interest to y'all here at SOHA. Primarily is funding for renovations in our local schools, renovations for our local roads here in the Sherman Oaks area, as well as our fire station. So we're going to look forward to all the good work that will come from that. Last but not least, on Monday, I went and visited the Los Angeles Passport Agency located in the Federal Building in Westwood. I am very happy to say that getting your passport will be easier than ever now. Very soon at the end of the year, they tell me they're streamlining their process so you can just apply directly. That being said, COVID, there's still a backlog from COVID. I would urge all of you, if you're traveling and your passport's expiring soon and you're traveling, give yourself at least 6 months. However, if you want to really make sure that you have 100%, give yourself about a year. But if that's not possible, call us, we'll help you out. We've been able to help out 99% of our constituents that come to us. We're able to help them get on planes, and we're going to continue to do that. And hopefully it'll be up to 100 and by the end of the year. So that's all I have for you, and thanks.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ryan Ahari. I'm the Sherman Oaks Field Deputy for Councilmember Nithya Raman in the 4th Council District on LA City Council. I wanted to let you all know the Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council's last screening of its movies in the park for this year will be on Saturday, August 26th. It's going to be right here at Sherman Oaks Park. It's going to be at the softball fields just off of Hazeltine. The featured movie will be the new Super Mario Brothers movie. Movie entertainment begins at 6 p.m. and then the movie begins at 8 p.m. So bring a lawn chair, bring your friends, some food, and come and join the community for a great movie. Our office has continued prioritizing curb repainting throughout Council District 4. We started with Ventura. We then since then have moved on to Van Nuys and Sepulveda, which DOT has partially done. So if you're driving from Ventura north on both Sepulveda and Van Nuys, you might have noticed brand new curbs that have been repainted. DOT will continue working on that. We also want to prioritize Oxnard and Burbank. We're continuing to work on curb maintenance. 2 more things. Alleyways are a huge concern right now because of the large number of potholes and the large potholes themselves in alleyways. We've been working with the Bureau of Street Services to get very large patches done. So think 4 feet by 12 feet. So if you know an alleyway that needs significant work, please let me know so we can prioritize that. And then finally, I wanted to let you all know, we unfortunately have departed from our beloved Sherman Oaks office. We were there since the council member was sworn in. It was next to Pavilions on Ventura, just off of Kester. We outgrew the office, so we are, just so you all know, we are now at Ventura and Ethel in Studio City. So we're just slightly outside. Sherman Oaks is still in our council district. I'm still your field deputy, but I still wanted to let you all know our new office has moved. So come to our office and say hi. If you need to get a hold of me, I have business cards. So please let me know how I can help improve our neighborhoods, and I'll be around. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And also thanks to Ryan and his office. A few months ago, we made an announcement, and over here, I always bother me with that. Made an announcement that there was that illegal sign, that big, huge illegal sign on the old Hamlet. And a bunch of you guys were upset about it because it's a Coca-Cola sign that was up there illegally. Ryan took the reins and it is now down. So hopefully, thank you, Ryan. All right, next up. Oh, also, there's a few people that just came in the room. If you guys want seats, ladies, if you want seats, there's seats up here. There's a seat over there too. So come on up and join the group.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cynthia Hernandez. I'm with the City Attorney's Office. I am your guys' Valley Bureau representative. I don't have much update, but I know I'm here just to connect with you guys. If you guys want to talk or anything, let me know. I am very reachable, but I'm here for you guys. Anything.
Right.
Good evening. My name is Diane Rana. I'm a field rep for Assemblymember Laura Friedman. Just 3 things for you tonight. I wanted to tell you that she hosted a town pardon me, a town hall at the end of July with members of the WGA and SAG-AFTRA to talk about the state of the entertainment industry and also to offer assistance dealing with unemployment or state disability insurance claims. So if you know anybody who's struggling communicating with EDD, I know it's a very rare occurrence. Our office is happy to assist. Please reach out to us. She also held a press conference in Studio City at the end of July to talk about AB 645, which is her legislation that creates a speed safety pilot program in 6 cities. One of them is Los Angeles. This bill is currently in the Senate, and she's working to move it out of the Senate Appropriations Committee by September 1st, and hopefully to the governor's desk by September 14th. One last note for this group, I spoke with a representative this afternoon from the Housing and Community Development Department for the state of California. This is the department that's overseeing the COVID rental relief program. I wanted to mention that they told me they are on the last 140 cases. These are all of their most difficult cases, which they are anticipating sending out determinations on over the next 3 to 4 weeks. So if you are a renter or a landlord looking for payment from this program, they're wrapping up their cases now. And my final note, pardon me, is I have a guide to constituent services. I'm happy to hand these out to anyone who would like it. With the legislative session wrapping up, if you want to provide input on any legislation, please contact the Assembly member's office or give a comment on the web portal. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. How many of you folks have met her boss, Laura Friedman? Any, just show of hands? Okay, so just a few of you. So put in your calendars, October, she'll be here, she'll be our guest speaker. So I'm very excited, and I know you're extremely excited to have her here. So come on and hear what she has to say. Lindsay?
Hi, everyone. My name is Lindsay Ember, president of the Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council, one level below the City Council. As Ryan stated, we are sponsoring the Movies in the Park event next Saturday, the 26th. Mario movie. Come, it's a good time. It's free. Also, I wanted to just remind you, if you have an issue in the neighborhood that you want us to look at for whatever reason, that's what we're here for. We have meetings on our website at shermanoaksnc.org. Just a very quick example. Someone brought to our attention a home sharing ordinance issue. We took care of that in Public Safety Committee, contacted CD4 office, and now they're looking into that process. The ball was not rolling before, but after being brought to us, now it's starting to roll. So again, shermanoaksnc.org, your lowest form of government. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Okay, so we have 2 committee reports, and then we're going to dig right in. Larry Slade, and then Nancy, if you want to work your way up here.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. I got 2 items on my brief agenda tonight. The first one, I want to just add a quick commentary about the state of homelessness in Los Angeles, California, specifically in Sherman Oaks. I wrote an article for the SOHA newsletter this month, which I referred to fighting homelessness as trying to bail water out of a stream. And one of the issues that we've had is the problem continues to get worse. We continue to throw more and more money at it, more and more resources, which I fully support. We're now in a position where we have elected officials who are intently focused on trying to solve this. They're being given significant resources to try to address this issue. And the commentary I wanted to make is my hope that they're successful, that we see an impact on homelessness. Because after the injection of new capital, new programs, new elected officials all working in unison, if we're still not able to have a mitigating impact on homelessness, we've got a bigger problem and we need to start looking for different solutions. So I'm just suggesting keep your eye on that ball because I think it's going to be important over the next 2 or 3 years. I'd like to introduce Gina Friedlow, where she is. Gina is with Volunteers Cleaning Communities. They're a community-based organization. Please, round of applause. Here's this bottle of energy. They're a community-based organization focused on helping make the world a litter-free place. We thank Gina for all of her work, everything she's done, and I hand the mic off.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Larry. I want to thank Nancy for inviting me to, we found each other on Nextdoor. So this is a litter emergency. I gotta get my phone out. I gotta call. It's an emergency. I gotta talk to somebody. I gotta tell you what I'm finding on the beach. There are McDonald's wrappers, there are ketchup containers, there are straws, there are Starbucks lids. They're on the beach and I need some help right now, immediately. We've got kids playing in the sand, building sandcastles among all this litter, and it's a litter emergency and we need help right now. That is the problem, guys. About 6 months ago, I got so sick of seeing all the litter all over Los Angeles that I decided to do something. So I went out for a daily walk with a trash bag like this, and it was filled in 5 minutes. So the second day I went out with 2. They were filled in 10 minutes. So then the third day, I converted my farmer's market shopping cart into a trash receptacle, and the rest is history. I started keeping a journal on Nextdoor, and the posts went viral. I got so much support, and I've got some Sherman Oaks residents here that have been early adopters. We go out once or twice a month. We pick up litter, and we really feel like we're making a difference. But I'm here today because we need more help. We need help with volunteers, but we also need people who have expertise, who might have connections with education. We need kids to be educated because the kids teach their parents not to litter, and the litter is piling up and it's on our beaches. I was at the beach today in the sand. So anyway, we will be doing a cleanup this Saturday. We meet at 8 a.m. at New York Bagel Cafe. We work for about an hour and a half. We pick up just anything we feel comfortable with. This is not unhoused litter. These are food wrappers, napkins, things people have lost their teeth with. Please take my number down. This is my cell number, 310-975-4456. You can call me directly. You can text me. I'd love to invite anybody out on a cleanup. If you decide not to come out with us, get yourself a trash grabber and encourage people, and maybe do this yourself. Pick up the litter around your houses and encourage the business owners to do the same. Thank you. Yeah, it's volunteerscleaningcommunities.com. You can sign up and it'll go directly to me. And my direct phone number is 310-975-4456. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for all that. Can the volunteers that work with you guys, can you stand up and we just acknowledge you guys too? Thank you for your cleanup. Thank you. That's awesome. Nancy just had back surgery, so we won't be asking her to pick up the trash tonight.
Thank you, Gina. Gina has organized 2 cleanups here in Sherman Oaks. So she's really doing great volunteer work. And thank you for coming, Gina. Appreciate what you do. So I'm Nancy on the board, and a couple of things, an airport update. First of all, regarding Van Nuys Airport, some of you may have been reading about the Bonset Helenet proposal. That was ostensibly to rebuild a hangar. However, the proposal's language left a big loophole for them to add jet flights and thus increase flights. So we fought it, we objected, and good news there, the community work, which was both SOHA and SOM and the public, as well as Councilwoman Rahman's office, all worked together with the public, and we objected. And we are Also, and the good news there is that Von Seth Helenet proposal has been tabled by the LA World Airports because of that objection. So that was a victory, and I'm happy about that. So we are fighting flight expansion, and both Burbank and Van Nuys have plans for that, and we are working to, to object because of the pollution, the noise, and so on. One other thing I will say is about the proposed air taxis. Jay touched on it earlier. This is a major issue. A lot of our residents have been greatly impacted by flight noise. The proposal that's on the table, in addition to, the airports wanting to expand, is what they call advanced air mobility vehicles. Those are air taxis. And they're really going to be flying low over our homes and businesses. And for anybody who values their privacy in their backyard, who doesn't want more noise and pollution from air traffic, you really need to get involved and fight this. So let me tell you what you can do. Very simple, but you've got to do it by tomorrow. Go on, I know it's not a lot of time, but go on, and you can see me afterward. I'll give you the web address. It's Studio City for Quiet Skies. StudioCityForQuietSkies.com. On the website, they will have a hyperlink that you can click on to make a public comment if you don't want air taxis. Air taxis are going to be very disruptive, and they're only going to serve the very rich. So if you value your, your home and your quiet life, please take action by tomorrow. So thank you. We're working hard to keep Sherman Oaks a wonderful place to live. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Okay, so the royal couple, Jeff and Maria Kalban, they work tirelessly. Maria as our Vice President of Sherman Oaks Homeowners Association, Jeff on the Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council, and they have a great presentation for you folks. At the end of the presentation, stick around because I'm going to let you know who the speaker is for next month. It's going to be a sold out show, so definitely make sure you get here early.
Hi, everybody. We're talking about housing today, and we know that it's so complicated that we thought maybe we would show you what we're talking about instead of hoping that you're reading my paper articles every month. About a year ago, when we started looking at the housing element, we realized that it takes a lot of work to get any changes done on those maps. And we knew we had to take a three-pronged approach. We know that we had to reach communities to make them aware of what was going on. We knew that we had to talk to council members because they have the power to change some of these maps. And we knew that we had to reach out to the mayor's office because she sets policy. And yesterday we had our fourth meeting with the mayor's office, and we're going to have another meeting in 2 weeks. And they were surprised at the data and were impressed with our outreach. So we hope to show you why what the housing element is, why it affects you, and what we can maybe do about it. So I hope you can all see this. I know it may be a little difficult, but every 8 years, the state analyzes population growth projections and determines how much housing each region of the state must provide in the 8-year cycle to meet the state's housing needs. That is called the RHNA Housing Needs Assessment, or RHNA, Regional Housing Needs Assessment, or RHNA. These numbers are then sent to each regional government for further analysis, and ours is called the Southern California Association of Governments, or SCAG. They again reevaluate these RHNA numbers and distribute them among their cities and the counties in their region. Then each city's planning department prepares a housing element that must show enough zoning capacity to meet the RHNA numbers. And then the state has to approve it. So the state's RENA mandate for LA is for us to zone for 456,000 units in the next 8 years. LA Planning Department added a 7% cushion, making it 485,000 units. LA Planning identified existing zoning, places we've already zoned but haven't built up, that will accommodate 230,000 of those units, leaving LA to zone for 255,000 units in order to be compliant with the state's RENA mandate. This is the planning department's rezoning strategies that show on the left side how and where more zoning could be added. So to meet the zoning for 255,000 units, the planning department proposes rezoning for 1.4 million units, 5.6 times more than is required. To reach 1.4 million, planning is upzoning single family and multifamily neighborhoods without fully identifying all the opportunities on the commercial corridors and the public lands. Here is the planning department housing element map for the San Fernando Valley. The shaded areas are rezoning for single family and multifamily neighborhoods. When you look at it closer, the teal color is affordable housing overlays. The mustard color, which is a little harder to see, is called density bonus 50. The color that you see up at the top is called an opportunity residential corridor. And then we have that light blue that looks so innocent, and it's transit-oriented community expansion. All of them allow 4 to 6 story apartments in single-family neighborhoods. And density bonus 50 allows additional height and density on multifamily neighborhood units. So here is the impact in Sherman Oaks. We didn't circle everything, but we could have. So if you look closer, the light blue is TOC expansion. The light blue is TOC expansion. It sweeps up this single family neighborhoods for apartment development. In the next slide, if you look at the left side, which is Sherman Oaks Circle, that area by Valley Inn, all that neighborhood is proposed for apartments. And north of Moore Park, Library Square and areas around are also TOC expansion. Here is another indication on Valley Vista, before Woodman and all the way past Long Ridge, that becomes opportunity residential corridors, which means any house selling, that property can become an apartment. So, you're up.
Okay, so what does that mean? I mean, this happens to be an apartment house on Hazeltine, right across from the park. So this is for density bonus 50, which allows greater density in multifamily neighborhoods. So you see this modest apartment house. We have apartments like this throughout Sherman Oaks, a lot of them are courtyard apartments. But in the housing element, they're tagged for being upzoned to density bonus 50. So what can happen is that they become too valuable to stay as they are. So they're going to be demolished, and then they'll become new large apartment houses, which aren't bad in themselves, except they eliminate older, more affordable housing units, and they cause displacement. And when you look at what Maria's pointing out as TOC expansion, opportunity residential corridors, and affordable housing overlays, they allow 4 to 6 story apartments in single family neighborhoods. So in a house like this can happen. This is now economically feasible because there are now state and local laws that make it allowable not to have parking. So this is a project on a 50-foot wide lot, which is what a typical house in Sherman Oaks is on. This is an actual project in the MacArthur Park area on a 50-foot wide lot that right now has a single family house and a detached garage.
So this is now very possible to happen here in Sherman Oaks. And it's not just in the flats. This is on Sutton Street. That little house, a cute, wonderful little house. This can happen in any single-family neighborhood that's being proposed for rezoning. Now, a lot of us have seen this in the paper. This is a developer who plans to tear down this house in Woodland Hills and build a 50-unit apartment house there. This could be the fate in Sherman Oaks if the city gets this rezoning done. So we say, don't trust the planning department to change their rezoning maps. We must insist our council members and advocate for their communities and get these maps changed. So in Sherman Oaks, in our vision committee, which incorporates a lot of people in this room, we did a study of Sherman Oaks. And what we wanted to do, see if we can reach these RENA numbers in Sherman Oaks without touching any residential properties, not single family, not multi-family. So we just looked at properties that were 1 story high on commercial corridors surrounded by vast parking lots, right? So we found 21 different sites around Sherman Oaks, and they're all this color. And those sites are located around Sherman Oaks, but we also need to follow the federal law of affirmatively furthering fair housing. So what we want to do is spread everybody around, and we'll look for mixed income. And then we also want to make sure that we're revitalizing our community so that we'd have walking destinations in each part of Sherman Oaks. We're able to do this and far exceed any RENA criteria for Sherman Oaks. You can find on those sites 10 to 20,000 housing units.
So before we go to this next slide, when we talk to the mayor's office, she often talks about the Sherman Oaks housing plan. She's very supportive of it. And yesterday when we were talking to them, they mentioned again that she talked to their group about this study that Sherman Oaks did. It's an attempt to make housing fair and equitable, allowing people to come into the neighborhoods, and ways of making it so it's not just huge, big apartments. So Jeff has all kinds of studies on it. Another time we'll go there. But now, you remember this strategy that we showed you earlier. Let's put all these numbers in perspective. So in LA, we currently have 1.5 million housing units. That's how many units we've had since we started Sherman Oaks. Los Angeles, sorry. Planning is proposing zoning for 1.4, almost an equal amount in 8 years. If we look at it in another way, according to SCAG, they use a ratio of 2.42 people to dwelling units.
What is SCAG?
It's the Southern California Association of Governments. So the 1.5 million units existing today means we can house 3.9 million people, and the census confirms that's what our population is currently. Now, when you look at the plan's suggestion to zone for an additional 3.2 million people in LA in 8 years, or changing our population and accommodating from 3.9 to 7.1 million in 8 years. There is no data supporting that magnitude of growth. The Department of Finance that the state has that prepares the RENA numbers shows a drop in population growth for the next 37 years. And this is their latest 2023 updated projection. And when you look at this next slide, that yellow box is SCAG's estimate of what our population projection might be. But they did not update theirs since 2018. But even when you look at their numbers, it is less than 1 million people in the next 25 years. If we were to eliminate all the zoning strategies that affect single family and multifamily neighborhoods, that would be the opportunity recreational, residential corridors, DOC expansion, density bonus 50, and affordable housing overlays. If you eliminated them, it still leaves 760,000 units, or 3 times more than RENA requires. We don't think you need to touch single-family or multifamily houses or neighborhoods in order to meet the state mandate. Right. So the danger of overzoning is that it results in overbuilding, causing unnecessary stress on the city's finances, environment, infrastructure, and it changes the socio-economic makeup of communities as they absorb more market rate housing.
Okay, so you see that red box at the top. One of the strategies that the planning department uses is called community plan updates. Okay, and every part of the city is going to go through that, but a lot of parts of the cities have not done it yet. But in that top red box, they're looking for 627,000 new housing units, right? Which well more than exceeds the 255,000 that they have to find. This chart has just come out from the planning department. It's an update of that chart we just saw before. This chart is table 4.119. This is table 4.19 updated just recently. And so you see the red box. Okay, that's the community plan updates. And the downtown community plan that just been approved and the Hollywood community plan that just approved. Those two plans alone allow for a total of 259,500 new housing units. So therefore, statistically, the RENA goal has been met. Right? So this 255,000 has already been met. Yet the city is still planning to rezone for 1.4 million. Our population is shrinking, it's not growing. So what we need to do now, and what we're telling the city, all they need to do now is focus on the existing need for affordable housing and equally distribute that around the city of Los Angeles. Housing affordability should not be a dream.
One more statistic, 73% of houses permitted in 2020 statewide were affordable only to high-income homeowners. So this just shows you the lack of housing is really unaffordable housing and not the upper end of it. So do you want to talk about this?
Okay, so what we're saying, well, again, what we're meeting with the planning department is on our commercial corridors, which are not the most attractive places in the world. And they're look just like this, and they're underutilized. Here's where we have the space, the infrastructure, transit, and economy of scale to build meaningful amounts of affordable housing. The city can demand a higher percentage of affordable housing by incentivizing zoning, having fee waivers, prioritizing processing, and have financial assistance. We're going to show you a little study that we did. This is just a theoretical study, but this part of Sherman Oaks is called Library Square. And Library Square is tagged for being upzoned for both affordable housing overlay and TOC expansion. So why would you put 6-story apartment houses on these single-family lots when you have Gelson's and Sherman Oaks Square, which are underutilized? I chair the Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council Planning and Land Use Committee. Over the last 20 years, both these owners have come before us to rezone their property twice. But it's such an onerous process, they backed off from doing it. But what we're saying right now, instead of rezoning the single-family areas, we're going to look down the street with the arrows pointing. Okay, why would you put apartment houses on the left in a single-family neighborhood, when on the right you have an empty, underutilized commercial area that they want to redevelop? What we're proposing that on the right, you do attached mixed income single-family homes for sale. So this allows for mixed income row houses with an opportunity to build generational wealth. And you have mixed income. If I go back to here, These are 100% affordable units. So what do you have there? You have, this is where the less fortunate live, and you don't want that. That's called economic segregation. What we're saying is by doing mixed income and making them homes, then you can build generational wealth. You can have all different levels of affordability, including market rate here. And then looking to the left is going down Sylmar, to the right is Millbank. Oops, I went wrong, I'm sorry. So what we're saying is, again, look at what we call this layered zoning. This roadway goes back here, goes into the garages for these single-family houses, and goes into the garage for the mixed income apartment house. That steps up from 45 feet to maybe 55 feet or 60 feet, then steps back down again on the commercial corridor. So the idea here is create new affordable integrated neighborhoods while revitalizing the commercial areas. And so what happens when you look at the commercial corridors, you carefully rezone them so that they become true public amenities, creating walking areas. This is what we're talking about, stepping it down, create destinations to walk to, nice plazas, places to gather. And when you do this, you revitalize communities. You provide significant amounts of mixed income housing, including enabling home ownership. You respect existing neighborhoods and integrate significant amounts of affordable housing. But our city needs to know how to negotiate better. Right now, they give away the store and get nothing in return. They get maybe 10 to 15% affordable housing. If you rezone commercial property, they should not be a giveaway to developers. Rezoning these properties should require more affordable units, upwards of 30%. Because you're saving the developers time and millions of dollars. State and city laws now keep granting more benefits to developers while asking less affordable units in return.
So we told you that Mayor Vasquez liked us, and she has always said that she believes that many single-family home neighborhoods should remain off limits for greater density. And she pointed out our Sherman Oaks study that she felt was a fair trade to build on commercial strips and save neighborhoods. The most important part of this to us is her last sentence that said, the attitude has to be, we all have skin in the game, and given that, how do you deal with it in your neighborhoods? And so we organized all these neighborhoods. So we organized CD4, and we went to Encino, they did maps, and we found solutions for where they could put housing. We went to Studio City and Los Feliz and did the same. And we also met.
When we work with all these different communities, they all have situations like we showed at the Gilson site and the Sherman Square, large commercial areas that are underutilized and available for upzoning. They're not upzoned in the housing element. They're not upzoned in the community plan. They're left at very low buildability. So it's important that we stay, upzone those, create really wonderful communities that can be greener and more walkable, and leave the single family and our sense of multifamily alone.
So we ended up showing this to Councilmember Rana. We then did CD2 and showed this to Council President Corian. We went to CD11 and made a presentation to Councilmember Park. This, before you go to CD11 was amazing. This is Venice, Mar Vista, Westchester. They did unbelievable maps, and they showed where 2 years ago they worked with the planning department and showed a few areas that were historic for them and they wanted to protect them. And the new community plans that have just been released wipes out those community historic areas. They were very, very interesting presentations for her. We next week go to CD5, and if you notice, there are a whole lot of organizations that make up the homeowner groups, and we have maps for each and every one of them. And we are also doing CD15 tomorrow, San Pedro. What we're trying to say here is there's lots and lots of opportunity. We are not trying to say no building. We're saying let's do it smart. Let's respect the investment everybody has done. And let's allow more people to come into our neighborhoods because that's important. And we're saying we must remove the needless rezoning of our residential neighborhoods from the housing element maps before those maps are put into the environmental review process late this fall. And once these properties are rezoned, they don't come back down. So we have to do this now, and that's what we're working on now.
Just from the sound of the applause, I assume it's just for the presentation. There's nothing to do. You guys don't support this, do you? So let me just ask you. I know some of you folks have been following what these guys have been doing, but some of you folks, this is the first time you've actually seen and heard this presentation. Just by a show of hands, how many of you think that their option as far as where to build this additional housing that is needed is a great plan? Just a show of hands. So the folks on Zoom and for the other folks that tune in, so we have a lot of people on Zoom, everybody in this room raised their hand. So I would just assume that you have been taking this message, like you said, you took it to the council president. What was his response? Yeah, I assume you've taken it to our council member Rahman. What is her response?
Well, I have to say that they're all in agreement to add housing on the commercial corridors. The problem becomes whether they're willing to let go of our single family and multifamily neighborhoods rezoning. And that's what we're kind of working with them on. They are always amazed at the data because they can't believe the data we're showing them. And we know that the planning department has a tough job. We're not criticizing them in the sense that it is very complicated what they have to do, but you don't have to go to 1.4 million and sweep up single family neighborhoods when you've got so many other options in the city.
Okay. So we do have a few questions that were emailed into us. The first question is, how can there be a quote transit-oriented communities end quote when Sherman Oaks has no real rapid transit and won't get it for at least 10 years? Do slow buses stuck in rush hour traffic count as rapid transit? What happens when they change the bus route?
Okay, so obviously we have no rapid transit, have no mass transit that's meaningful in any place in the San Fernando Valley. We have the orange line that goes to just a couple of places on just one line. When the subway comes in 25 years, whatever it's going to be, it's only going to have 4 stops in the valley. That's not a transit system. What we are doing right now in our vision committee, we are working to find a way to have a meaningful local transit system that works with affordable housing. Again, there are laws that are passed by the state and by the city that do away with parking. So where are people going to put their cars? How are they going to get to where they're going to get to unless we have a meaningful transit system? Of course, if you're building in a place like Manhattan, it says already they don't need to have parking. But here, they're taking away the parking without having a transit system. You can't build a house before you have power and water there, right? You need to get your utilities there. You should be having a transit system. So we're going to be studying that. Bob Anderson is bringing in transit specialists to be part of this. We're talking to developers, trying to find ways and see if we can do this that's economically reasonable, and then use Sherman Oak as a pilot project, and see if we can get some kind of wonderful mass transit that can run on our east-west boulevards, the south boulevards are laid out on a half-mile grid.
So the short answer is no, we don't have a good transit system, and they're still going to build what they've been showing us. I mean, if they're not going to not do these overlays just because they don't think you have a good enough bus system. So we need to keep working on this.
So these folks in the audience, we've got less than 100 folks here, all raise their hand to support this. What can they do to help you move this forward?
So we're still going through regular channels. We're still meeting council members. We're still dealing with the mayor. We hope we might be seeing the mayor in this next meeting. After that, we need to have community pressure. We're going to send out email blasts and ask everybody to send an email to the council member. We need her support. She can help change these maps, and we think we have a good plan, and we don't think it's going to be anything that would be detrimental to anybody in LA.
Are all you guys gonna, when this, goes good? Okay. It's interesting. I mean, you guys, Jeff, you've been working on this for a long time, and Marie, you have as well. And, you cobbled together some of the most powerful homeowner groups, not just in the valley, but the city. You would think that the elected would look at your presentation and say, thank you. You gave us a solution. Is that happening?
Well, they are impressed. We have been given great compliments. They're very impressed with what we're doing, but they kind of, there's always this kind of hesitation on where we go. So we need to add more pressure. And that's what we hope we can do. We have this fall, and that's it. So they say they're going to submit new maps soon. So we have to make sure they get rid of all the overlays from single family and multifamily neighborhoods.
When we've met with some of the very, very senior people in planning, they have said, oh my God, you've done no work for us. And they've also asked us for political support. Okay, there are pressures coming in from people and organizations who are very well financed, who want to do away with single family neighborhoods. And that's the reality of it. So we're finding very well funded lobbyists who, from the state, the local government, want to do away with single family zoning, which is absurd. Maria and I have had hundreds of town halls up and down the state. And every time we meet with communities, even very wealthy communities in Northern California, where they have nothing smaller than 1 acre lots, they all want to try to find ways to get affordable housing in their communities while preserving their communities. They all want affordable housing so their kids can live in their communities. They all want affordable housing so that the people who work there, the teachers and firemen and policemen, can all live in their communities. We want
Just for Jim. I just want to say also, we meet with communities that are very working class, and they are horrified at the bills that are being passed, and they especially get displacement when there's more value added to their properties. So they begin to see their neighborhoods changing. So we have a lot of people that are affected differently, but they all support the same way of solving it.
So I'm going to do something different. Most of the other questions, as a matter of fact, all the other questions you guys already covered. You guys did a great presentation. Thank you. But I'm going to do something I don't normally do because we've got a very friendly speakers tonight. Does anybody here from the audience have a specific question that you want to do? Just raise your hand if you do. Okay, you have a couple questions. Okay. So Jay, what's your question? Stand up. You've got a loud voice, and if you could come up here afterwards.
I think to go up there, but
No. You've got a loud voice.
you're saying it's clear, and that's that what you say, even a trained monkey would have to agree with, but nobody's willing to take a step forward. And one of the reasons is that nobody's.
Hold on.
It seems like one of the reasons that the politicians aren't stepping forward is because we're bucking up against a well-financed opposition. Because otherwise, these plans are clear. The other ones are also clear, and they're negative. So do you think it's going to come down to us having to hire some lobbyists to go against the lobbyists that the developers and the apartment builders want to present?
One of the co-sponsors of these bills, you guys, is an organization, unfortunately, that I belong to. It's California Association of Realtors. They want this because if they can build more houses, they can sell more houses. It's greed. It's greed. So, but they have a lot of money. So does that answer his question?
Yes, that is something we're talking about. We have a lot of people throughout the state that want to do some kind of raise money so we can do lobbying work. So that's in the works. Currently, we're still all voters, and we have to be careful who we vote in. I mean, a lot of these people are supporting this kind of crazy plan, and I think we have to stand up and vote what we believe. So
this is an incredibly eye-opening presentation. I'm floored. I have learned from a very wise man that politicians care about two things, money and votes. And I've been told that emails don't work, that petitions do. So do we have time to circulate petitions in these communities?
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. And yes, we do have time. We're talking late fall, early winter. I mean, the planning department keeps changing the dates on us, so we don't know, but thank you. I think that's a great point.
Okay, so you guys, anything else to add? Any closing? Yeah?
Yeah, probably, okay.
Okay, Jeff has a.
There is a real serious time crunch. The housing has to be, the rezoning has to happen by February 2025, which sounds like a long time away. But when you work backward with the process, that means the plans that the planning department should have shown us this spring and this summer won't be out until the winter. By the time they're in the winter, they have to start the environmental process, or they cannot get approval by the end of 2024, which is what they need to do so they can rezone by February of 2025. So we have a real crunch ahead of us, and Maria will keep you all informed.
All right. Oh, well, really? Go ahead. What's the realtor question? So her question is, why is the California Association of Realtors supporting this when it's going to ruin some residential homes? Because it's going to create, they think, a lot more homes to sell. Why? Look, again, I didn't support it. I know most of the realtors that I know in San Valley did support this. The California Association of Realtors has this governmental lobbying group that have a lot of money. And there are senators like Senator Weiner, who is very well funded by, it was raised there. Yeah. But he's funded very strong, very much by groups like that, groups like Apple that want, cheaper housing for their employees. The tech industry up in Northern California, they want cheaper housing for their employees so they can come back into California, which they're not going to do because they're taxed out of California. But those are the folks that are supporting it. Very, very powerful groups. So again, these guys are grassroots. This organization has beat very, very powerful groups in the past. We beat the Community Redevelopment Agency, the CRA, 20 years ago. Okay, no organization ever beat CRA in anything, but this association, Sherman Homeowners Association, did that. They were a huge, multi-billion-dollar group. So you guys are going to help these guys make sure that this doesn't happen in our backyard. So thank you again, you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you for all the work that you guys do. So before you leave, mark your calendars. Third Wednesday in September. Our superintendent of LAUSD is going to be our speaker. So he's got a lot to say, and make sure that it's the first time that we've had him here. So make sure that you guys mark your calendars, and it's going to be a great night. Thank you again for coming, and please clean up. And if you can help stick around and move some chairs around, that'd be great too. Thank you guys.